Okay, for those who have come in, welcome to the fourth edition of Zero Hour Online. For those who will come in during the course of this recording and conversation, we'll welcome you again a little later. But keep coming in, joining in, sending in your questions only in the Q&A box for those who have come in already. I'll wait another minute to introduce our guests and to start off this interesting conversation for the next 55 odd minutes. Hi, good evening, everybody. Welcome and thanks for joining us at this Zero Hour Online 4, the 6 p.m. on Monday evening, the 15th of June 2020. We have with us two very special guests, two very interesting people from the world of hospitality. We have Minat Lalpuria. Minat is the founder and CEO of a company called Sat Vachan. For those from the non-Hindi speaking world, Sat Vachan means 7 vows, so you guessed it. She runs a very interesting company that revolves around weddings, an enterprise built on weddings. And I'll tell you more about that in a moment. And we have with us Srijan Vadera. Srijan Vadera is one of the youngest, dashing, handsome general managers or the leaders of a five-star hotel in India. He's been in the hotel business for very long and he's still young. He runs the Conrad Bangalore or the Hotel Conrad in Bangalore as a leader of a very, very interesting property where I've had the chance to visit, live, stay, eat at many times in the last 1.5 years. Coming back to Minat again, you know what Minat does? She does this. She helps families in India, families with a lot of money, able to find the best location for the wedding of their son or daughter and have it as a destination wedding of sorts. Sometime in the course of this evening's conversation, Minat will tell us a few moments about what her business is like, and we'll also hear from Srijan. So for those of you who have joined in now, welcome. We have with us Srijan Vadera and Minat Lalpuria. Welcome both of you and thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us over, Amit.
Thanks, Amit.
For those of you new to Zero Hour Online, this is our 4th episode. We did the first 2 with me hosting them. Then we had a special guest edition last week with Deepak Jolly, joined by Abanti Shankar Narayanan and Harit Nagpal. I'm back again this week and for the next 2 weeks, and we have a very interesting set of guests for the next 2 Mondays as well. Without further ado, I'll straight away jump into asking Minat and Srijan the first question this evening. So Minat, we'll start with your younger days. Tell us and the audience here, what were your younger days like? Where did you grow up in? Which school did you go to? And things like that.
I'm still young, Amit. But
that's why I said younger. What did you do as a teenager? I don't
So Amit, I'm a typical Bombay girl, born and brought up here. Born into a middle-class family. And I've seen my parents take us from middle class to an upper middle class, so completely filled with a lot of values, and I understand how this whole thing works. Academically very strong, so I did my schooling from ABM, did my engineering, worked for a couple of years, went to ISB for my MBA. I always excelled. I think above 90-95% is what I've always got. So I think the career choices were very set in terms of what I can pick between A, B, and C. Then post ISB, I took the plunge of entrepreneurship and started with Sat Vachan.
Interesting. Thanks for that, Minat. Helpful. Srijan, tell us about your younger days. You're still young, I know, but your teenage days, where you studied, which schools you went to, which cities you grew up in.
Amit, I really can't thank you for that flattering introduction. I don't think so. I'm one person to what you introduced me to. But unlike Minat, I come from a very small town near Delhi called Karnal. I don't know if you have heard of that town or not.
Yes,
and I come from a family of teachers. I did my schooling from Sainik School. That's an armed forces run school. And after I couldn't get through National Defense Academy, and somehow I landed up doing my hotel management from IHM Chandigarh. I was not the brightest of the student, so I didn't have much of options on what to do and what not to do. And I think that's where I come in from. But I was always surrounded with a very caring and very warm, very well-knitted family. I had always been surrounded with pets. I have grown up with dogs. I always had a pet throughout my life, starting from Alsatian to a Apso to a Neapolitan Mastiff. And even now I'm a dog daddy of Zuni. So I think that kind of gets me back to staying calm and being back to the roots.
Right. No, thanks for sharing that introduction. Helps people to get a context to what you do now and where you come from. I think we've heard of frontline workers, we've heard of people in utilities, we've heard of people in the police forces, we've heard of people in the medical care facilities in the last 2 months who are actually in the front line. But you both belong to sectors that are, I think, largely in a big way affected by what's going on, the hotels business and the weddings business. Tell us about how your learnings from your childhood, from your younger days as teenagers, college, helped you in the last 3 months. What are the things that you learned from those days, if there are, that helped you cope with the last 3 months of dealing with what we are all going through? Minath, we'll start with you.
So I think one thing that I've always practiced is perseverance and patience. And I think that's really helped me in the past 3 months. And of course, it's a challenging situation. Business is not going to be the same, at least for the next 1.5 years for us. But it's only making me think on what more can we kind of do together. What are the, maybe it's time to bring some changes that the industry really needed to get in its own, the way it practices. So I think it's the time to kind of look at those things and get those practices in place. So I think patience has really helped me.
Patience and perseverance, you said. Wow. Yeah. Srijan, what about you? You have a huge hotel property to run, hundreds of staff. Your hotel was buzzing. I know when I called your salespeople a few months ago for a venue, they said no, we're sold out every other weekend, and everything has changed suddenly right now. And you have a very uphill task to build that kind of engagement back with audiences to come back to hotels. What has taught you in the last 3 months from things you learned in your younger days?
I think the first thing that has taught me is to go back, introspect, and understand what and where we are. My schooling and I think my family upbringing of grounded to the root, staying connected with people, and understanding the need of the hour. And another learning for me is to be more agile. This situation has taught me to think out of the box, think like an entrepreneur, think for the worst and prepare the best. At the same time, staying connected with people, staying humble, staying united, going back to the roots. But it's kind of a situation which we never thought of. But overall, I think I'm very well prepared today to handle the team around me and to ensure that we handle once we open the door fully and people start coming back to the normalcy.
Right. So I'll talk about this a little later again. But tell us again, both of you can choose who wants to go first. What do you think the next 6 months look like? I'm not even saying three months or 4 months. I'm saying 6 months. Let's skip June. How do things look like panning out for the weddings business, for the hotels business towards the end of the year, November, December? I know nobody has an answer. Nobody has an accurate answer. But what do you think as leaders in your own way of the way things will look like towards end of this year?
You want to go first?
No, go ahead, Minath.
So I think intimate weddings will be the way because of the government guidelines in terms of the number of people. But I don't think people will want to compromise on the celebration bit, right? So I think people will come up with really interesting ideas on how to keep the fun alive. So have multiple different parties maybe to kind of keep the celebration active. Or people who used to anyways think that this is society and कुछ लोगों को बुलाना पड़ता है, they can absolutely use Corona as an excuse and make it an intimate affair and just be with them. So I think celebrations will still happen, events will still happen. 6 months is a little too much to say because we're in a country where rules are changing every day pretty much. But I think that's how it's going to be. Next 6 months is going to be a little bit in flux. But we'll live with it.
Right.
Amit, for me, I was little surprised because the day we opened the door is the day we did 2 social functions at the hotel.
Yeah.
So demand is there. People want to get married. People want to celebrate. But even the government and the guests, they are not sure on what are the new norms. They are ever changing, and even for us to adapt to it and then follow it and train the staff, is a little bit of challenge. But I think the usual smiles will be replaced with the smiles behind the mask, and the usual weddings of 500 people might be restricted with 50 people. But people will spend, people will have great weddings, people will come for celebrations, and I think that's going to be the new normal very soon. I don't think.
I think people are on pause, Amit, right now. We're just waiting for things to become unpaused, essentially.
Right, but I'm saying in the process of waiting, there's so much being lost, right? Nobody had imagined so many jobs are getting lost, so many lives are getting lost, so many people's mental well-being is completely going for a toss in the process. And I know it's not an easy time. Everybody is stressed, from the ordinary maid helping us at home who earns maybe 4 or 5,000 rupees a month to the CEO getting 15-20 lakh a month. Everybody is in a mess, and we're trying to see how can this conversation here help us get ideas for a better tomorrow. So what did you all do differently? So Minat, what did you do different in the last 90 days, 100 days that you've had time off from not knowing what to do, but still use it meaningfully? Tell us 2 or 3 things you did in the last 3 months that you wouldn't have done otherwise because you got the time for free.
So, Amit, honestly, I have completely utilized this lockdown for myself, and which possibly was a time crunch earlier for me. So, in this lockdown, literally every 2 weeks, I've picked up something that I missed doing or something new. So, I've connected with mythology, I've connected with spirituality, I've done dancing, I've done cooking, painting, art, I've done everything possible. And now I'm kind of thinking of what to do next. So anyone tells me try this, I'll literally pick it up. So I'm just like experimenting with myself, if I can say that.
You should write a book on how to create dream weddings and keep the last chapter blank and say to do make this dream wedding happen, contact Minat at satvachan.com.
Yes. So I think I have a better topic to write a book on, but we'll come back to that later.
We'll talk about that. So Srijan, how have you spent your last 3 months beyond spending time with your wife, child, dog, and motivating your staff?
Amit, the last 3 months have been really, really busy for me. And when I say that, people might laugh on my face and say, when there is no guest, how is this man keeping himself busy? But I've been extremely busy because we have to reinvent the complete wheel. We have to go through the grind of training our staff. We have to plan online training. We have to ensure that we reconnect and we reinstate the faith in our guests, in our staff, amongst our owners, amongst our investors. And I can openly say that I'm really blessed that I've got great owners of the hotel Prestige Group. We didn't even sack single person from the hotel. But yes, it was difficult for me to keep the momentum on within the team. So going back to meeting the staff virtually, and I stay literally 300 meters away from the hotel. So of course, I'm quite agile in kind of dodging all the cops on the road, and I would run across and get into the hotel. But yes, then we have to we use this opportunity to work on the maintenance issue little bit, whatever we had at the hotel. We got the hotel completely thoroughly clean. We set up all the SOPs again. We did dry runs. So today, when last week when we opened the hotel, day one when we did a small social function, we were all thoroughly set on how we'll park 50 cars with social distancing, how we'll ensure that all those 50 guests are checked at the entrance of the hotel. We were all trained. So I think most of my time went through training and reinstating the fact that this hotel is the safest place to conduct business. We did complete photo shoot during the lockdown. And I'm not sure if you follow our hotel page on social media, you keep seeing those videos.
Yeah, for those of you who join in later, check out Conrad Bengaluru on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. You'll know what kind of a property Srijan runs. And for those who came in late, we three are sitting in 3 different cities, 3 different states right now. Srijan is in Bangalore or Bengaluru in Karnataka. Minat is in Mumbai in Maharashtra. I'm in the outskirts of Delhi in Gurgaon in Haryana. And we're doing this to ensure we have some ideas for a better tomorrow. Minat, I'll ask you a little different question. Tell us about what your entire business model is like. So people listening to this now and in the future will get an idea of what Sat Vachan is all about.
So, Amit, we do a very small part of the wedding, which is to find where to get married. So essentially, Sat Vachan is only a venue aggregator, and we help people find or source a hotel which kind of fits into their bill and is available anywhere in the world. So Europe to Bali is what we've covered extensively, and we've been very, very active pan-India. We're almost going to be 8 years in the next 2 months, and we've done about 11,000 weddings till now. So the idea is to just find where you can get married, because I think people don't know what really fits into their options. So I think if you're spending so much money, you need to know all your options and make an informed decision rather than just going by who's done a wedding in your known place. Everybody wants a different experience, like you said, a dream wedding. So we just help in the first step. Yeah.
Oh, fabulous. That's interesting because for those joining in, unlike my first two shows where I had guests who did not know each other, I got to know a few months ago this lovely lady, Minat, through Srijan himself, because I'm sure she's done a lot of weddings at his properties or knows him generally. And I was fascinated. I said, wow, here's a business. I've heard of wedding planners. Here's a business where somebody just helps families decide the wedding venue, the city, and then the property. And that's a cool way to become a millionaire or a billionaire that Minat is on a way to becoming. 11,000 weddings planned or venues fixed in less than 8 years is fabulous with a small team of 10 or 12 people, right?
Yeah, we're a small team of 8 people right now. And see, the idea is to make the business model very scalable and give people the right facts and figures. I think that's where we
Right.
are. Yeah.
No, it's superb to know that such a business exists. I only knew of wedding planners who do the band, the decoration, the catering, but this is superb and this is amazing. So Srijan, coming back to you now on since we're talking of hotels and you've spent all your life in the hotel world, let's take a little break from hotels. What do you do for leisure? Tell our audience, tell people what do you do for leisure. I know you're a major biker, you love adventure, you love the two wheels of your bike. Tell us about that and tell us more about what you do and how you have managed in the last 3 months to spend some time doing fun things for leisure.
So, Amit, I'm an avid biker. I love bike rides. I love to go on long tours. I love technology. I love fashion. I love fitness. And of course, right now I'm not in the best of the shape, but I'm going back to where I left my fitness regime. But in terms of bike ride, just before lockdown, I did my bike ride from Bangalore to Goa, and there were close to 3,000 bikers who did ride from different parts of the country. It was the annual Hog Rally, Harley Owners Group Rally, and I'm a proud owner of a Harley Road King, which is one of the heaviest and the coolest bike. Other than that, in terms of eating well, in terms of having a regimental routine, in terms of staying connected with family, doing the basics right, is what I love. So this is a little bit of what I love to do. I can play on PlayStation throughout night, and then be at work with my droopy eyes and look cool. And maybe then again in the evening I have to start my the gym regimen. But these are things that I love to do.
No, nice to know. Thanks for sharing that. The whole idea of asking these questions is to give people ideas that, hey, what can I do in my free time? What can I do in my leisure time that I can learn from others? Because we don't talk about these things to strangers typically. Our close friends group knows this, but good for others to know in the future. Minna, tell us about you. What do you do beyond planning wedding venues for the rich and mighty?
So I'm a very people's person. So I love to stay connected. I love being the agony aunt. I love to listen in and be that understanding person. So I spend people essentially. I mentor entrepreneurs as much as I can because I love the fact that someone is willing to take a risk and take a plunge in life. So I encourage that a lot. So I met on board with certain strategy plans at a state level for some of the hotels, for literally anyone who wants to just think through. I like to do that in my free time, if I can say that. Besides that, I have a creative side, which I already spoke about. So I do that whenever I can.
I think Amit. Okay. So tell us one of the incident, or tell us what was one of the most difficult guest or a business deal that you cracked, and how did you do it?
I don't think we've ever had that case.
So it's all been very smooth.
Yeah. If you have the right processes in place, then I don't think anything is difficult. All these words like risky and difficult and all don't exist for me.
मतलब घमंड नहीं करा आपने कभी भी.
But that's the fact. I don't think anyone or anyone of my team also feels that we've had a difficult client ever.
Wow. Difficult hotel?
Yours was. Now it is streamlined.
Okay. Because your friends like me always there to support you.
No, of course, undoubtedly. I don't think without the hotels support this, I mean, it's a bridge, right? It's a bridge between clients and hotels. So if we wouldn't have your support, it wouldn't be possible for us to have South Hotel today. So
Yeah.
that's sure.
So what was your plan for 2020 if everything was smooth? What is it that 2 or 3 or 5 big things that you planned, which you still want to do it when everything is being normal?
My number one was travel. So I actually love traveling a lot, and I had, in fact, this was the time I was supposed to be in Europe, and 1.5 months, May and half of June, I was supposed to be there, and we were planning to launch something new at South Hotel. Now I don't know because now the market is a little bit in flux, so we need to kind of reevaluate our plans because it's time to keep growing. So we wanted to bring out something. Let's see if we can.
You are very like your answers are like straight cut, well defined. uh, you can just be yourself. Now tell us, what is it that you planned? You don't want to share any
No,
secret,
I'm
are
not
there
sharing what I had planned till it's really happening.
okay.
It's not like a product that I have, right? It's not like ये मेरे कमरे हैं and ये मेरे venues हैं and मैं ये करने वाला हूँ. It's a service, so it's an idea.
What's your idea of going on a leisure trip? What's your favorite destination? Where do you want to travel when everything is fine?
I don't have anything like that. There's nothing. I mean, I'm happy to just explore places. I think I've done enough of Southeast Asia and Europe. Africa is also done. So now I think Canada is next on my list. That's also because my besties are there. So I want to explore Canada next.
Wow.
So,
What do you think of hotels? How can hotels work better with professionals like you? What is your advice to hotels?
I think we've quite set it by now, Srijan. I think we took a lot of time to set processes, but now I think it's quite done. And now we are being quite flexible as well to clients. I think most of the hotels are being flexible. So I don't think we can expect anything more. And you guys have done a lot to ensure the safety and hygiene. I mean, more than what I could have even imagined. So, great work done there.
Yeah. I think Amit is back now.
I'm so sorry. I told you before the call began that I'm in Gurgaon and I haven't stepped out to buy a UPS because it's risky. So I'm waiting for my order to come home and I lost power. I'm sure you both chatted with each other. So
No
I'm on
problem.
my
He
mobile.
almost interviewed me for a job, and I hope he's giving me one. And if you log off again, I'm going to ask him questions next.
Yeah. I'm on my phone now. I hope this goes on fine. Let's hope. And if you see me double, that means my laptop comes on. Then we'll figure out. I was asking you the question when I lost you on what do you do for your free time, and then we spoke of a couple of things around that, and then I think I got completely thrown off. So you can continue with where you stopped. If not, I'll jump in to ask you all questions from where I last left.
So, Amit, that's what I said. I have a creative side, but then I also use a lot of my time with upcoming entrepreneurs. And I like to do a lot of strategy work, irrespective of the segment. So, be it a hotel, be it a new business idea, be it state governments, I like to work with them on strategy and execution. I think execution is something that I really gives me a high.
Interesting. Tell us about your family and how do you balance life with your families and your work?
Actually, I don't. My family just cooperates with me. I'm a workaholic. So literally everything is served to me on the table. And I do spend a lot of time with them. And I'm always there for them, but I don't really balance things well. I don't.
Interesting. I think you can't see me, but that's okay. You can hear me, right? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So Srijan, you tell us about how you manage life in the pre-business as usual era before March 22nd to spend time with your wife, child, and dog, given that you have a huge hotel to run as well. And I'm sure you're doing it now in some form, but tell us about how you manage work-life balance.
Amit, I try to manage it to the T. Believe you me, of course, I'm not workaholic like Minnat, neither am I alcoholic. So I try to balance it somewhere between being a workaholic and alcoholic to ensure that I have some sort of sanity in what I do. I stay close to the hotel, so I kind of avoid the time that usually people spend on road to reach home after work. I have just 5-minute walkable distance from the hotel. I like to start my day little early, and I usually hit the gym and then get ready and come down from the gym to my usual day life. But where I spend the least time is sending emails within the group, within the hotel, or sending idiotic, lengthy messages. I don't believe in bureaucracy, and I believe in ensuring that every level should be able to decide what they wish to do. So we have a very flat hierarchy at the hotel, in spite of us having 400 plus staff. And it's like a clockwork. So everyone is assigned on what the kind of decisions that they can take. Believe in being transparent. So I don't usually have lengthy hours to spend at the hotel. And of course, if I have to entertain a guest or meet a guest in the evening, then I stay back. Otherwise, I try to be home by 7:30 at the max. And then evenings are at home. Dinner for sure. I get my wife to cook for me. Even if I have to attend a winemaker's dinner or whatever, after galloping like half bottle of single malt, also I'll go back home and I'll ask my wife to ensure that she cooks for me.
Do you also cook yourself for your wife sometimes and for the family, Srijan?
I am exceptionally bad cook. Even if I want to cook, believe you me, Amit, I can't even make Maggie right. Even if the instructions is 2 minutes, I'll definitely screw it up. So
okay,
yeah, but I can definitely do other usual basic stuff. If you want me to chop, cut, descale a fish, or go and get vegetables or clean mop, I have no problems. But cooking, believe you me, even if they want me to cook, they will not want me to cook.
interesting.
But
So,
he is a workaholic who spends his lockdown at work any which ways, and you can never reach Srijan in one call. So he's absolutely a workaholic.
right. So I don't think my video will come back easily unless I switch off and switch on again. So let it be. You can see the same clothes I'm wearing on my picture that I wore on the video earlier. I'm going to leave a question for you all in case I get off from the call again. The question is on reputation. If I ever get off from the call, I'm going to make you all each other ask this question to each other for the audience. What is your idea of the word reputation? Okay, that's a question for later. If I get off the call, I'll come back to it. My next question is, Srijan, you have seen so much the world has gone through, so much our nation has gone through, so much the city of Bangalore, in your case, Mumbai has gone through in the last 3 months. Yeah. What are the things that you feel you have learned in the last 3 months? The earlier question I asked you was what you learned as a child that you applied, but what are the things you've observed and learned in the last 3 months that you think we could do better in the future? So that question to Srijan first and then Minath. What have you observed or learned in the last 3 months that we can use, or those observations, to make life better in the future?
I think, Amit, the first thing that I've learned is to ensure survival is extremely important. Staying connected with people in and around you, and to ensure people value small basic needs that are fulfilled is extremely important. Amit, you have seen, and of course Minath also knows, we were extremely busy. I thought, March, April, May, June is going to be a cakewalk in terms of driving business or revenues, but we never thought of this kind of situation. But the only thing which, and God forbid if anything of this sort ever happens, my only learning is to stay connected with people and to ensure to go back to the basics which we never valued earlier. That's what I would say.
Thanks. Minath, what about you? What are the things you've seen, observed in the last 3 months? And I like what he said. He spoke of survival, he spoke of basics. Tell us about your observations and learnings for the future.
So, I agree with Srijan, and I think, we always plan so much, right? And we make a plan A, plan B, plan C. Sometimes just nothing works. It's important to stay grounded. I think a lot of people have got in touch with people who they had lost connect with, like reunited, which is a great thing, used technology, actually had the time to make calls, which possibly we had forgotten. But I also think that people have become a lot more empathy driven in these 2-3 months. And I also think that, honestly, these were real stress times, right? Because almost no one has earned for 3 months. And literally, you hear less heart attack and other such cases. So I feel that all the stress that I would have ever taken before was useless, because this is actual stress times and people are not stressed in real. So I don't think that having stress or being hard on yourself has helped. And I think that has been my biggest learning this lockdown.
Interesting. No, thanks for sharing that. The next question is, I know everybody's worried, when will things get better? Nobody has an answer. I just look at it as two ways. I feel until herd immunity sets in into our country, or a vaccine is found and available to people in the country, I think we're going to live a kind of crazy life, a life of fear, a life of what we call the new normal in the future. What are your thoughts? When do you see things getting better? Are these two the pivots or the milestones when things will get better, herd immunity and vaccination, or something else? Srijan, what are your thoughts on that?
Amit, see, I'm too small a person to comment on such large issue.
We all are small, but at least from our observations, since we deal with different people day in and day out, what is the thinking on that? That's why, yeah.
No, amongst three of us, I'm the smallest. That's what I wanted to say. So,
That's not true.
yeah, my recommendation would be, I think we are done with staying at home. The new norm has to be to stay safe. At the same time, we have to go out. We have to conduct the usual business. We have to conduct our usual lives. You know, during 9/11, Minnat might be in school, but I was still working when 9/11 happened. I'm an old man, Minnat. So when 9/11 happened, everyone said, "Oh, you know, nobody's going to travel to India or to Asia, especially." But business started being normal in 3 to 6 months. But the new norm was to have bollards or to have spikes at the entrance to ensure security, safety is there. Earlier, there was no security guard at the entrance. There were no cars that were scanned. The only thing there was one big, tall-looking Darban with some fancy mustaches, and he would open the door and say, "Welcome to the hotel." But the new norm, which started after 9/11, was safety. The new norm after recession was to ensure that there were budget hotels in between the entry-level hotel to a real high-end hotels. I think the new norm has to be that we have to come out of our houses, be safe, be cognizant of the fact that hygiene plays extremely important role in day-to-day life. And of course, this has to be part of our life, and we have to be normal. Even forget about getting vaccine or not getting vaccine. I think we have to come out. We have to ensure we are safe, but we have to conduct our normal business.
Got it. Minnat, what is your take? What do you feel about this?
Amit, I think that the best thing about humans are that we love to adapt, right? And literally, this is also a normal for a lot of people. A lot of my OCDIC friends are very happy that this pandemic has happened and people will be a lot more cleaner, things will be a lot more safe. So I think there's a positive in everything. I think some of these things continue to become a part of our routine, like Srijan said, and like he said, that it's more about survival for a lot of people. And I think a lot of teamwork needs to come in picture. A lot of things that need to work in collaboration in terms of helping each other needs to come in, which is currently not there. So I do hope that kinds of sets in, and we should be able to drive each other in.
Yeah, no, thanks for saying that. My point still remains. I know what Srijan says of 9/11 and post that. Those were more man-made and there was control over certain things. This is not even man-made, so we don't know. And everybody is small now. No powerful man in the world or woman in the world in politics or business has an idea and has a control about this. While we wait for some questions to come from the audience, if there are, I'll go back to this question because it's my favorite topic and I do that day in and day out to advise, guide people. The question I'd asked you as a backup, I'll ask it any which way now. What do you think of the word reputation? What does reputation mean to you, Srijan, from a business point of view?
Amit, the reputation for me would mean brand assurance, would mean the fact that every time at every given point of contact with your customer, your delivery standard would remain the same. Reputation for me would be a name like honesty. Reputation is something that you cannot make overnight. Reputation is something that you make throughout your business proposals, throughout your conduct at all given point of time. So reputation is something that you have to earn lifelong.
Got it. No, thanks for that. This is helpful because there are a lot of students of reputation management on this call. It's good for them, and we'll use this advice in the future somewhere or the other to talk to people about what reputation means to different people. Minnat, what's your view or your definition or your belief about the concept of reputation?
So, Amit, for me, I think reputation is the promise that I make to myself. I think it's about my image, and when I say mine, it is equivalent to me and Satvachan. I don't consider it to be as two separate entities because maybe Satvachan is my baby. But it's more about the image we create, the trust that we build in, just the fact that people can take your words very seriously about what you say and what you deliver. For me, that is reputation. What people can hold you for is the promise that I make to myself.
Interesting. I have just two more questions, and if there are no audience questions, we'll wrap up in the next 7 to 8 minutes by 6:45 p.m., which is the time here in India for us. There are some people maybe watching from outside India, so I'm mentioning the time as well. My last two questions.
If we have time, then I also want to ask you a question. So if you allow, whenever, maybe at the end.
Hopefully, we'll do that. Hope my power cut doesn't trouble me further. Okay, so my last two questions to both of you. One is, there are a lot of youngsters today. You both keep saying you're young, you were younger once upon a time. They are at the crossroads. When I say youngsters, I'm talking of youngsters who've just finished college, waiting for their first job to start. There are a lot of youngsters who are waiting for their exams, which haven't got completed because they were in the final year and waiting for those exams to happen. They're all in the crossroads. So what is your advice, both of you? What is your advice to these young people? I mean, advice to everybody, but young who are 21, 22, raring to go. They feel, oh my God, my career is hanging. My exams are not finished. How do I cope with this in the future? What is your advice, Srijan first, and then Minath, to these young people?
Amit, I think this is a very valid question, especially for youngsters who suddenly feel, or straight out of the college, there might not be any job. What will we do? My suggestion to all the youngsters who would listen or watch this video, or who are right now listening to us, is to keep the faith, to invest this time in learning, and to ensure that they are the smartest when the job opportunity comes in. And I will share a few mantras. I usually would have never given it free, but it's Amit and Amit's show. So, he's my very dear friend. So for Amit, I'll give these 3 golden rules of mine. Is don't accept mediocrity in life. So keep hunting for the best. You have to ensure that whatever you do the best. If you're not doing the best, then just don't do it. So usually I don't do anything because I can't get to what I want to do. But what I'm saying is fit and aim to be the best. Second is keep learning, keep ensuring that whatever you are today, you prepare for the next day. Third, which is very, very important rule, is do the right thing. If you are doing the right thing, then you have never ever need to worry on what's going to happen. Am I in the safe zone? Will I be successful in moving forward? So do the right thing is very, very critical for all the youngsters. And then another problem is with the so-called millennials, or whatever you call. After millennials also there are some. So we never had Google when I was growing up. For everything now you can Google, but that's also a deterrent for all of us. We feel we know it all. My suggestion is, if you know it all, get to the battlefield, put it to use, and see how successful you can use it. Don't think you know it all. Use it to the practical side of conducting business. That's my only recommendation.
Thank you, Srijan. There's one audience question for you, which I'll ask you later, which is a very simple question. But Minath, what are your advice or pieces of thoughts, glimpses of advice for youngsters at the crossroads right now? People waiting for their final exams to start working, or those have got jobs and the offer letters are on hold, or things like that. What is your advice?
I would just say that don't be harsh to yourself. If you already know what you want to be, then you are really, really lucky to know that at the age of 2021. So pursue it like with 200% zeal and zest. But if you don't know, it's absolutely fine. It's not that you have to get it right now at the age of 2021, or even till 25, or even till 30. I have a lot of friends who are looking for a career change even at 35, 40. So don't pressurize yourself and be harsh to yourself. It's just that if you already know what you like doing and where you want to make a difference, pursue it. If you don't know, just explore. Take your time, explore, and figure out what you want to do. It's not necessary to do it now.
Got it. No, thanks. It's very important and helpful. And maybe sometime in the next few days, our producer, Roshan with team, will try and pull these specific nuggets out to use them in social media to inspire younger people to take some inspiration.
Okay, Amit, I can't hear you. Minnat, can you hear Amit?
No, I think it's my chance to ask you questions, Srijan. So we'll
No.
wait for 10 seconds. Otherwise, I'm starting with my rapid fire.
No, but I wanted to ask Amit something now. I don't know where he's gone. He strategically decided to. Oh, now I think he's coming on.
He's coming on. Yeah, you got saved.
See all my.
No, I don't think you are getting saved.
No. Amit, are you back?
Yeah. So, so sorry. This is a bad one today, but we'll deal with it. I think it was nature's way of saying, "Hey, let Minath and Srijan catch up when Amit goes away for 10 seconds each time." There's
But
a
Amit,
question.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, but there's an audience question for you, and then you can ask me the question. The question from Akshay. I think Akshay asked this question. He wants to know what is the hotelier's mantra for success in building good relationships. What is the hotelier's mantra for successful relationships?
I think to keep it simple, be very, very transparent with your client, with your bosses, with business partners. Be very, very transparent. Set the right expectation. You know, the problem with all us hoteliers is that we'll promise moons and stars, and also because it's a very glamorous world, guests also have different expectations, especially for weddings or whatever. What I'm saying, don't crush their dreams when you meet, but set the right expectation. So under promise and over deliver, and again stay connected even after the business is done and over. You never know who recommends you where and how you get another referral business. But that's to keep it very, very simple.
So Srijan, Akshay is from Taj, by the way.
There's another question now. It's coming from Sushil Chowdhury. I think this is for Minath. Will people prefer to have events in India or overseas in the coming years? I don't know what the connection of that question to the situation now is, but it's an interesting question any which way. Do you want to answer that question, Minath?
Of course, and thank you, Uncle, for watching this. I really appreciate it. So I think that a lot will depend on the government rules in terms of how many guest sizes allowed now. So because most of the countries have come back and told us that we don't have a size restriction. If that is the case, then a lot of cash-rich clients will prefer to go outside and do the weddings from a safety point of view, and because they can do a bigger wedding over there. But if there is issues on the quarantine or the travel restrictions, then most of the weddings will happen in India. That's where I think we are.
Nice. There's another question for you, Minath. A lot of questions for you. I missed those because I got off. From Dhruv, the question is, hotels are all on social media today. Why would they need to go through you to find a venue? People, can't they directly reach the hotels for the venue? I think that's a good question because you have spoke. Why should people go to you and not to hotels directly?
Yes, so I think you're right. Hotels are very active on social media. People come to us for two major reasons. One is the rates. It's not know how to negotiate, but I think people don't know what to negotiate on when it comes to a wedding. That's a value add I think we majorly add so that there are no surprise billing during your wedding. And the second thing which I think people really appreciate with us is the kind of options we give them, because they are not aware of what options really fall in. So, for example, how many hotels social media channel will you follow at the end of the day? You need to know what's the best fit for you. So people majorly come to us for the kind of options we give them. Something that they thought was not doable and is now being done is where I think we make a value add.
No, absolutely. And my belief is there's no business in this world which would start if there was no problem to solve. I think you're solving a problem for people by finding them great venues at a very affordable price, which they wouldn't otherwise get an option to choose from. I think that's the reason your business has survived 8 years.
I think you should say affordable price, because Srijan thinks that we only don't pay him enough and we only negotiate very badly with hotels.
Srijan always does that. The more money you give him, he doesn't realize it's hard money, but that's okay. That's Srijan. Srijan, questions from you now. I'm done with the questions that I had to ask and from the audience. If there are audience questions, I'll take one more later, but 5 minutes for you to ask each other or ask me questions if you want to.
And so Amit, I've always asked you this and you have never answered me.
With a mean question, I won't answer.
No, today you are caught because this is the opportunity that you gave me. And now I'm going to ask you, and you have to answer this. Mr. Amit Prabhu, whenever I meet you, you will always be surrounded with good-looking women.
Yeah.
Now tell us, how do you manage to be always surrounded with good-looking women?
I'm surprised Srijan is asking this question. Really?
I know. This is the question he wanted me to ask him, but anyway, because it's banter and it's fun, I'll answer that question.
Amit, I don't want to name people who
I think Amit, he wants you to ask that question to him. So he's just like
always
putting it there.
Amit, you know the list is very long. If I start naming them, we will run out for an hour. So tell us, you give us tip to all the men on this show who are watching you live or who are going to watch this video live. Tell us the secret sauce.
Done. So first of all, my company is an equal opportunity employer. We have equal number of men and women. We have, I think, now three women and 2 men in Gurgaon. So you have met me with my colleagues in the past. I know who you're referring to. You met me with my advisor based in Bangalore, Shreya Krishnan, in your hotel once. And she's a very interesting and dear friend and colleague. I don't think you met me with anybody else. But the point is,
I can name few, but this is recorded.
Name it. That's okay. So the point is, I think there is a lot of exchange that happens with regard to ideas with them, and this show itself is an answer to that. We don't do a show like this unless there's one man and one woman on the show. We ensure gender diversity on this show, and I think the people you refer to feel confident and safe to be around people like me. I don't know about you in the same way, but since you asked me, that's the answer to the question. Do you have another tough question for me to answer? I'll deal with it.
So the gender diversity, I think I'm on the show. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made it.
No, thanks to the gender diversity, we have Srijan as well. We'd have 2 women otherwise. Srijan thinks I know a lot of them. But that's the
thanks,
that's
Amit.
The
you made me feel special. I really can't thank you enough. So the introduction that you gave was all cooked up. Now everyone will relate to it. So thanks.
Right.
Yeah.
Minat, do you have any question for me or for Srijan before we wind up the show?
Both of you. So both of you have asked me enough. So I think now it's time. So I'll start with Srijan. Srijan, we'll do a quick rapid fire, okay?
That's out of syllabus. I'm not going to do rapid fire thingy with you.
This entire talk show was
out. Do it with Amit first.
No, I'm just starting with you. With Amit, I have a very straightforward question. So, Srijan, what age did you start getting into hotels?
19.
What was your actual dream or career dream?
I wanted to work for armed forces. I'm an accidental hotelier.
Okay, and what was your first job in the hotel as?
As a trainee waiter.
How many brands have you worked with?
8.
How many hotels?
9.
8 brands, 9 hotels.
Yeah.
Okay, and what age did you become the first GM?
37. 36,
and you were
37.
Officially labeled as the youngest GM in India?
I paid for it, but yeah.
Okay, thanks for breaking the flow. Amit, I think, PR as a career, I think a lot of people have, these preconceived notions in terms of PR not being that well paid or that well reputed a job. What is your take on it? Like, I know you've done some great work on it and I really admire it, but what is your take on this whole thing?
So PR was a new career choice for a lot of people 25, 26 years ago in the mid-90s when Narasimha Rao's government opened up the economy. A lot of brands came from overseas and they came with their ad agencies and PR firms. At that time, nobody knew how much and how to pay a PR person. So people started with playing it safe and lower salaries. But over the years, salaries in PR have gone up drastically. At the entry level, salaries are still not huge compared to other fields like engineering or medicine or whatever else. But in PR, if you're good and hardworking and honest, the growth is immense. People with 5 years of experience in PR who are 28, 29 can earn upwards of 10 and 12 lakh per annum if they're really good at their job. And there are people in India, there are at least, I would say, up to 50 people in India in PR and CorpCom who earn upwards of 1 crore a year, which is not a small amount of money. And they're really good at their job. They're all 20, 25 years in the business. They're in their mid, late 40s, early 50s. So PR is not anymore a low-paying job. Yes, entry-level salaries may seem low, but mid-level and high-level, at the top level, there are interesting salary brackets that one can get into.
A lot of people did ping me about you, so congratulations on the great name you've created.
Thanks you. That's rapid fire for me. One question only. How cool was that? That was
Yeah, Srijan needs to be broken up into smaller questions. That's why.
Before I end, if Srijan or you want to say a final comment, final message for the audience now and forever, please do that. It's your chance to say anything in the next 60 seconds. No questions, but any comment you want to make. I'll let you go first and let Srijan have the last word.
So my request to everyone is to stay positive, stay healthy. Please hit the gym. If you cannot hit the gym, do whatever you can do at home. Eat on time, drink little less, and use this time to stay connected with people around you. And Amit and Minath, I must tell you that this is the show that I loved so far, because I'm talking to two of my favorite people who are very, very genuine. So Amit, thank you for having me on the show. I absolutely loved it. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. Thanks, Srijan. Thanks for putting me on the spot as well. But I took it in my stride because that was a question I was expecting, since I only met you twice with two people. Cool. Minath, your final words, your final comments.
So I am absolutely. I wish I was just 5% as fit as Srijan is, but I would just say have fun. Just do whatever you want to. And Amit, thanks for this opportunity. It was a great conversation with friends. So I had a great time. And no hygiene and no COVID and no controlling. So I really loved it.
Thank you so much. So our next episode, next Monday evening at 6 p.m. is with two very interesting people from the world of, in a way, you could say showbiz, from the world of performance arts. We have with us the erstwhile Doordarshan news anchor, whose voice has been heard now by people all over the world in different forms. She's a great voiceover artist, anchor. In fact, every second metro rail in India has her voice with the English announcements. Her name, for those of you who have already guessed, is Rini Simon Khanna. We have Rini Khanna next Monday. Along with her is a comedian, a stand-up comic artist who's enthralled audiences across the world. He's not going to do comedy that evening. He's going to talk about life in these times, life in the future. A gentleman many of you have come across called Papa CJ, who's the author of a very cool book recently written by him called Nature.
I'm going to ping him.
Yeah, so next Monday evening at 6 p.m, tune in to listen to Papa CJ and Rini Khanna talk about life in these times and in the future. Thanks again, Srijan and Minath, for your time. Thanks to all the others who joined in. Sorry if you missed any question. You can reach out to them directly or to me in some form, and I'll give your question answered in the next couple of days if I missed your question. Thank you once again. Hope you enjoyed this. Sorry for my situation being a little crazy today with the power cuts. I promise by next Monday, I'll have a UPS for my Wi-Fi at home, and we'll solve that problem once and for all. Thank you. Have a great evening,
so
everybody
much.
watching live, and see you all next Monday on 0R Online 5.
Thanks, Amit. Thanks, Minath.
Thanks, Srijan.
Thank
Bye,
you
Minath.
guys. Bye.